Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu diesem Podcast, Die Kraft der liebevollen Gedanken. Ich bin Chris Spieler und ich freue mich sehr, dass du heute hier bist. Dieses Interview ist eine große Ehre für mich. Wir haben es auf Englisch durchgeführt und es gibt Untertitel. Hello and welcome to this podcast, The Power of Kind Thoughts. This conversation is a deep honor for me. Byron Katie is the founder of the work, A Simple Process of Self-Inquiry, and her books have been translated in more than 30 languages, and her work has touched millions of lives around this planet, including my own. I met Katie 20 years ago through my dear Ralph, and since then the work has not been something I've practiced from time to time. It's the way I meet life again and again. And books like Loving What Is, here in German, Lieben was ist, and Thousand Names for Joy, 1000 Namen für Freude, they have accompanied me for many years, not as teachings, but as living companions. And now Katie has a newest book. It's called A Mind at Home with Itself, in German, Ich liebe was ist. In January 2024, I had a severe accident and two major surgeries and a long healing process. In that time, this one quote from Byron Katie stayed with me that I want to share with you today. Place your kindest thoughts on everything you meet today. Meet yourself. And from that experience, a simple practice grew, a 90-day invitation to allow kind thoughts. And this project is currently accompanied by scientific research, and our conversation is rooted in lived experience with the work. So now let's welcome, and I'm deeply grateful to welcome now Byron Katie.
Hi, honey.
Hi. Oh my God, hello.
Oh, sweetie. Hi. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I feel
Ah.
so touched. Oh, oh, oh my God. I wanted to prepare in my mind. I was believing I need a very nice studio when I have you in the interview.
Oh,
So I organized the studio. Last night,
Chris.
yes, I did. I believed. It didn't turn out as true, but I believed it until 1.5 hours before we met. So we drove, my whole family drove to Heidelberg, like half an hour away. I forgot my microphone, so I had to buy a new microphone.
Oh no.
Did that. Here it is in color.
Oh my gosh. That's beautiful.
Yes, it's working. And then we arrived at that place, my whole family. My mom joined me. And then we're standing, closed doors, no lights, nothing. I booked it, but there was nothing. I don't know. I called, no one. You know what? The friendly universe, what happened? I called my father again. They turned around, of course. My sister was also in the car. They arrived, and then she saw that her hat, like it's freezing cold here in Germany, her hat was falling out of the car and she would have lost it. Only because they came back, she found it again. Well, that was my pre-story.
As love would have it.
As love would have it, I sit in the room where all this, like your quote, which I invited you, like, I'm so grateful that you said yes, Katie. I'm so
Oh,
grateful.
well, how could I not? Are you kidding me? Any opportunity we have to be together, if it's possible.
Oh, that's so true. Like in my mind, I'm so grateful for this year. It's 20 years that I was introduced to you. Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I remember the day we met, I fell in love with you immediately. You're coming out of the hotel and into the car, and I got to meet my Chris.
Love on first sight.
Ooh.
And the first moment I saw you was in Hamburg. Like I did the ticketing at the cashier. I
Uh-huh.
had no idea about Byron Katie. I just wanted to hang out with Ralph because I was so in
In
love
love.
with him, in love, still am, still am in love with him.
Yeah.
And I did everything to spend time with him. And he was like hosting your European tour. So I watched through the open door. You were on stage. And in that moment, like I was a magnet. Like I thought,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
something resonated so deeply within me.
And it's just so beautiful that in us it never changes. It's just the power of inward.
Yes. When inward and outward start matching.
Oh my gosh, so true. Yes, honey. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Mm.
So I pre-recorded an entry and an introduction about you. So now I just feel so much gratitude that you're here. And I want to ask you if you could say something how you feel right now and the way you are today, and just say what is, yeah, just a little introduction
Okay.
about yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Byron Katie, and I'm a friend of Chris's. We go back a long time, I think 20 years. And oh my goodness. Oh, so good to sit with a human being as kind and open and forthcoming as Chris. You know, it's a privilege. And I love your podcast, Chris, and keep doing it, honey. Keep moving self-inquiry to the world so we all deserve a life as free and open as yours is, and what you've found and how you take people through it through your own experience and so forthcoming. And and thank you for that. Thank you for a better world.
I was just sitting in your work in your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like the last half hour, and I was
Oh, that
so,
MD, she was, oh my goodness, what depth.
yes, yes. And with her aunt, I think it was, I thought of my mom, and when you said it's like, this is how we are, this is like the truth. And I was thinking about my mom standing in the office, black, no light, and whoop. Yes. Yeah, I would like I got asked like it's a privilege to sit with you, and I got asked to ask you about like I met you 20 years, but your experience was in 86, like 1986. Like how is it evolving? What changed? Or how what do you feel right now when you
Oh,
think
I
of this
feel as
life?
free as I did then. I
Hmm.
feel as unbothered as I did then, meaning in a good way. It's not that I have a lack of concern, it's just that I'm more into what can I do? How can I help? How might I serve on this world of suffering that people are experiencing before the work was, what do I say, Chris? Like shown to me in a moment on the floor when I was so hopeless, and it hasn't changed from from that time on, and I'm so grateful, Chris. I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful at how you are moving the work, this self-inquiry that we're so so what can I say that you couldn't say? And you can probably say it better. So I'll just leave it all to you and your future podcast, just like the ones behind it.
Oh, yes. I remember when, like it's almost 20 years ago, where we had a little finca in Mallorca where we invited people to our home to do what we learned from you. And I was listening to all of your YouTube videos, and I was making notes of what you said to remember, because everything was like, oh my God, oh yes, the ego is a terrified child, and past and future. And like, how can I help? I was making notes and all of that. And I think, wow, it's such, I cannot like repeat, I'm repeating myself how grateful I am that what comes through you is showing that there is a peace is possible no matter what's going on in the world.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's those questions, those four questions and turnarounds passed on from one to the next to the next.
Yes.
And the power of living out of the enlightenment we find when we sit in the work that's that you and I referred to as four questions and turnarounds, and the enlightenment that invites and how it moves in the world. So it's the same for me, Chris. It's it's just such a privilege that people's minds are open to it, because it's not an easy thing to sit in oneself and ask, is what I'm believing, is it true? And because we're it opens us up to the ego's identity, and that's a big ask, and that's where love comes in, love and patience, to allow the ego to have its life and to move it from our head onto paper,
Mm.
and to sit in it, and to experience the ego opening up to the true nature of even the ego.
Mm.
What can I say that you couldn't say, Chris? It's an extraordinary um, gift for the human race, whose mind is open, people open to self-inquiry. It's priceless, and that's why it's
Mm.
always free.
Yeah.
It's just all it takes is a very open mind and those four questions, and a little help from a friend like you, like me, and those that come behind us and ahead of us.
Yes, and I'm so deeply grateful that on thework.com everything is there. Like I'm downloading the worksheets or every time I go to your website and download it for every retreat that we host, and everything that you and your team is like all the energy and the work
Mhm.
that it's been put into that. This is free. It's like
Yeah,
extraordinary. It's a
yeah,
peace movement. Yes.
yeah, and I love that anyone has the same privilege that you and I do. Anyone can go to thework.com and download these worksheets, and open their minds, sit in this exercise of stillness, this meditative process, and fill in those blanks, answer those six questions on the worksheet, and
Mhm.
then have the courage to sit in self-inquiry, questioning what they believe,
Yes.
but if we can do it, Chris, they can do it as well.
Yes. And when you say like the true nature, like what is true nature for you from your experience?
Well, I think it's like the title of your podcast, The
Hmm.
Power of Kind Mind, is like saying the power of sanity,
Hmm.
the absence of crazy and cruel. And we think
Hmm.
that being crazy and cruel can change the world, by force somehow. But no, love is the power. And these four questions, they show us how to live out of that very clearly, so we can exercise the power of kind mind that is self-evident as we sit in these four questions and turnarounds. We can exercise that, and that strength, living out of that, gives us
Hmm.
opportunity to live a sane life without downside. And when there's an apparent downside, we can, what we're thinking and believing, that's the downside. What we're
Hmm.
thinking and believing about the situation at any given time and space,
Hmm.
that's that's the power we have, to sit in self-inquiry, to move those thoughts from our head to paper.
Yes.
And yeah, it's always free on thework.com.
Hmm.
It just has never changed in all these years. It's just so
Hmm.
simple. Any of you listening to this podcast today, if Chris and I can do it, you can do it.
Yes. Yes, it just needs pen and paper and an open
Mhm.
mind.
That's it.
Curiosity. I think this is what I didn't know, that I was curious, that I had an open mind. I didn't know it. Like I
Mhm.
went through school education and I had school, good childhood, everything. But when I heard you first talk, And then in the first school, like your retreat that I was like changed my mind, the school for the work and was held in Germany at that time. I really discovered, oh my gosh, inside here this is open, there's curiosity, it's creative, and a lot of thoughts that belong on paper.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah.
still
Yeah,
today
those
there's
those thoughts
so
that keep us from what you described, that open, beautiful mind, any thought
mhm,
that would compete with that, that would not, that would leave us from that awareness
mhm,
of wisdom, really, peace and kindness is wise, and we act more wisely out of it.
yes,
And anything that powerful that would compete with that, yeah, it could use a little work to move it. Any fearful thoughts, to move from our head to paper, and there
mhm,
is our mind stopped. Our
yeah,
mind, the the cause of our suffering, stopped there on paper, so we can question it to see, is what we're believing true?
yes,
Is it valid? Is it and we always come out with kind thoughts, kinder thoughts, and the
mhm,
power to live it. Because this work also shows us how to live. It
yes,
doesn't just leave us out in the cold as with these enlightened minds. It's it we have direction. It shows us it's clear direction,
yes,
because you do in all that freedom when we're used to turmoil. And what do? We want turmoil. It breaks the boredom and all these things, It's self-inquiry is like it's like saying, oh, you know, self-inquiry is the key to intelligence. Anything less than kind thoughts is a lack of intelligence, meaning
mhm,
it's the ego's world that intervenes with our kind nature. So, yeah,
yes. I
it's
heard you, uh, I heard you say in one of your podcasts that there's no opposite to that.
no, 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 no opposite. Anything that is not kind is not valid,
Mhm,
not needed. But in the ego's world, it is needed, it is necessary. And I am all about, as you know, not doing war with the ego, but to know that that kind of power, respectfully, and to honor it, we move it from our head to paper. We write the ego's world down, what we're thinking and believing, in other words. And then out of that kind of self-awareness and open-mindedness and transparency, we can also sit in it and question what we're believing and not expect the ego to like it. But as love is the power,
mhm,
the ego is open to it. It doesn't, it understands you're not trying to kill it or change it, that you're sitting with it, listening, honoring the ego. And then the ego, it's like we don't let go of us, it lets go of us. And that is the power of understanding the ego respectfully, and and the freedom that comes of it, that kind of respect.
yeah. I remember you once told me that it starts with literal listening
Hmm.
outside and also inside. Like to
Hmm.
really listen to what my ego and what thoughts are arising and to really pay attention in detail.
Yeah, yeah, well said. Well said. There's what we're saying, and then there's what we're thinking and believing. And we don't know how, if it's stressful, we know what to do with it. It belongs on paper. Respectfully move the
Mhm,
ego's world from head to paper, and question it, and let the ego speak. It will,
mhm.
when it's not experiencing that we're trying to kill it or change it. It's
You,
like love making.
mm. And I heard you say many times that you say the ego is like a terrified child.
Yeah. Yeah. It thinks we're trying to kill it anytime we're trying
Mhm.
to change it or override it with positive thinking. And
Mm.
then I'm not saying not to do that, to, um, I'm not saying not to do that, but to question it, question the thoughts that are causing our fear and suffering and yeah, and to
Mhm.
move those thoughts from head to paper on a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet.
Yeah, I experienced, excuse me, 2 years ago, I had this accident, like believing my thoughts brought me to this situation. And then I woke up in that hotel room in no, not hotel room, in this hospital room in Casablanca after emergency surgery, like 9 hours, and
Oh,
lost,
honey.
yeah, 12 kilos. I don't know in the US measurement. I lost a lot.
Yeah.
It was, the doctor told Ralph many times that I have gone far, far, far away, that he brought me back far from a far away place.
Yeah. Oh, honey.
Yes, and then I woke up and my mom just said that she was here on the staircase, like I'm in that house where I recovered, and she said there was a moment on the staircase where she remembered her thought, wow, something's going on with Chris. She didn't know that I had an accident. She didn't know that I was in the hospital. She had the thought, I need you, Chris. And then
Yeah.
later we found out it was like that same timing where they recovered me. I don't know. I wasn't there. My consciousness wasn't there. But then waking up, what I wanted to share, where all this project is coming from, I woke up in this hospital room. I had this scar and it was really weak, and the physical was, oh, so much pain, the highest amount of pain that I ever had experienced in
Oh,
my life.
yeah.
The, dear Ralph was with me. This was really helpful. And then, as I saw this scar for the first time and those what they did and everything, I had unexpected. It came out of the inside like a wave of peace, and the thought that came with it was, I have received a big gift. And I still get goosebumps when I think about that
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
because it stayed. I had something to hold on to. It was not from the outside, it was not a positive thinking or something. I didn't plan it, it just happened. And the month later, in this room where I am now, I was reading this one quote from yours, which is, place your kindest thoughts on everything you meet today, meet yourself. And I was sitting on that chair actually when I read that quote, and I thought, wow, I know this quote for many years. I read it many times, but then something clicked, and I thought, oh, gosh, this happened to me in the hospital bed. And how powerful it was. It brought me like the most comfortable cushion through this horrible experience.
Oh my.
And so I wanted,
So you had the the physical and the mental surgery.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Surgery meaning, awareness and the knowing that came with that gift of what you just shared.
yeah, it was like crutches, mental crutches to get me to the next and the
Yeah.
next and the next one to recovery. It was so beautiful. And then with reading your quote, I thought, wow, this is really something so, it was so powerful in my experience because this high amount of pain I never experienced before, and I like
Yeah.
almost dying and coming back and having this new life now. But still, when I
Mhm.
think about this thought, I have received a big gift. This is like now, okay, now I have the first time a project that I something to say to talk about. I never really talked about something, and that's why I this like the intuition to ask you for a podcast. I know you for 20 years now. I never
Yeah.
asked you to that we talk, and now something is very different in my life, and I would like to hear your experience from place your kindest thoughts in everything you meet today. Meet yourself. Like, where's your mind going with this? Like it came from you.
A, a good life, a good life, a good life, open mind, Also the term understanding, also the term power, the power of connection. We could say the power of love, the opposite of negativity, which is the ego's world. And even negativity, though, once we question it, we come to a whole understanding and appreciation. So the negative becomes the positive. And you described that clearly as you were just describing your experience. All that apparent negative just flipped. And it's you were self-aware. People don't understand it's what they're thinking and believing that is the cause of their suffering, not the world or the body. And the body, we could say that's a part of the world. But what we're thinking and believing is not a tangible object. But neither is the body when we wake up to reality. That not even that exists other than what we're thinking and believing and the images in our head that would show us as apparent fact where we've been or where we're going. It's and yeah, the self-inquiry, it's some kind of miracle only for people who have the patience and the and they're tired of the suffering, but they have the patience. And you don't have to, be tired of suffering to do this work. I don't want to leave that impression.
No.
But either way, it gives us a life that you have just described. It's like a rebirthing,
Yes.
and the work working in you, your enlightenment. It was available coming out of surgery.
Yes. Yes. I heard you say many times that the work is preventive medicine.
It
And I
is.
thought I was so grateful for every worksheet and every one believe at a time worksheet I did before the surgery.
Uh,
Because coming in and waking up again, it's like it was somehow all there. And then there were those cute nurses too. Like one
uh,
wanted to go to Germany with me, and I have those cute
oh,
little pictures where we're all standing with those
oh
hearts,
my gosh.
and I couldn't walk. Like, I mean, after 3 days, the doctor told me, and now you have to stand up and walk. And I mean, I had this kind of an opening and two openings on my belly. I thought, what is he saying,
Oh,
really? But then I
yeah,
did it, following the simple directions is what I learned from you.
yeah,
It's like, okay, when he said it, I follow the simple directions, get up. It took me like 20 minutes to get up and
yeah,
sit, and all the details I
yeah.
spare us. But wow, following the simple directions is also
Oh
such a
my goodness,
thing.
when the eagle screams, I can't, it's not safe, they're gonna have to redo the stitches. Dun, 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 dun. But there is that enlightenment in you of the result of the work. It doesn't think, oh, that's ego. It understands. It's not something you have to figure out. It's like you just flip into that enlightened mind that just, okay, I'll walk. And it'll all fall out where it won't. And I'm sure that it won't, but my mind is open to it might. And it's there's loving what is, it
Yes.
does or doesn't.
And
But
trust.
the courage and the trust just to move forward. He's the expert. You're not the doctor. Walk.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's like, I think a result of doing the work is that I love humans. I
Yeah.
just love humans. I am, and the doctor and the nurses, and it was like it's an Arabic speaking country and French and Arabic, and I don't speak any Arabic. Habibi is the only
No.
word I know, and French I had in school. It was like this little. But it worked. Like the language is love, like the
Yeah.
united language. We connected through the eyes, and they treated me like I was a baby. I felt like a baby. I was so well taken
I
care of.
love you gave yourself to that, the giving ourselves up to the
Mm.
expert in a situation like that. And that's the gift of an open mind. And that's what self-inquiry gives us, an
Yeah.
open mind. And an open mind doesn't mean stupid. We
Yeah.
know, yeah, it's an open mind. Yeah, like going to a doctor and thinking, I know better. With all these stitches, if they a surgery that lasted hours, but I know better. I ego know better.
Yes. And I remembered when, like your what you shared when your organs like shut down, and that was so
Mhm.
helpful to remember.
Oh, I'm
Um,
so glad. That's a reason to share it. My experience, your experience, a
yeah.
reason to share it. Yeah, open mind, open heart, closed mind, closed
Mhm.
heart. And anything we're thinking and believing that is fearful belongs on paper so that we can question it. And there it is stopped, and we can
Mhm.
question it. Just follow those simple directions and that you share with your listeners.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful for that, Chris.
Mhm.
Everyone deserves a right to know that the work exists. They don't have to work it, but
Yeah.
they have a right to understand that it exists, and that if you and I can do it, sit in
Mhm.
self-inquiry with that direction, anyone can do it. And
Yeah.
that's experience talking.
Yes. Yes, I needed you. I didn't learn this at school that my mind is open. I needed to listen to you
Mhm,
to understand, wow, my mind is open and I can, that doesn't mean I have so many thoughts that to do inquiry on,
mhm.
and it's open. And I had to learn
Yeah,
it from you, and I'm so
yeah.
deeply grateful. My life changed like, oh my God, I blessed life
Oh,
with
honey.
all of it, like with all of it. There's like this illness that I had with 21 that's just like I need to take medication every day. And there
Mhm.
at that moment I thought my life is over. Not true.
Yeah,
So
not
not
true.
true. The opposite is true.
I remember that one.
Yes, yes. And also like when my grandmother passed away, it was
Yeah,
the my source of unconditional love. And it
yeah.
was the first time I had to say goodbye to a loved one. And I was
Mhm,
sitting in the back of the car, you were sitting in front, and then you said, my mother, she visits me
mhm,
inside, and I have those
mhm.
visits, and I never know when she shows up. And this is what I learned from you, like when you say like death has no power.
Yeah,
It's not powerful enough that people will love leave us. It's so true.
yeah,
My grandma visits me so often.
yeah. And so listeners aren't confused, as we remember the people we love. That's what we mean when we say visitation. And it is, they're visiting. They're just, they're who we believe them to be, dead or alive. We do their work, they show up, and we can get some excellent guidance because there's some distance that is offered up when we look at life and death. But life is death. When we're sleeping at night and we're not dreaming, do we even exist? And then in the morning, what do we wake up? I am awake. I identification, and we just roll out of that but we have no proof that we have ever lived before or will live. So to cherish the moment and to live out of that and know the difference between the ego's world as it's offered up and the world that lives out of the gift of life, the gift of life. Who cares if it's imagined or not? It's a gift. So there's no downside to doing this work. People do this work and they lose identification, and it's really scary for them, and they have enough work in them to understand that it's a dream in that moment. It's the ego's opinion of what's going on. And without the ego, meaning, can I really know that it's true? And contemplating that, it's a clear state. It's a clear
Mm.
state. We're picking up all of the not kind thoughts.
Yes.
We're picking them up. We're not throwing them away. They're like a baby we're holding. Sweetheart, is it true what you're believing? Is it true? And, it's to love the ego. We're at war with it, but to understand it, that takes us to a state of what some refer to as non-duality, no downside other than what I'm thinking and believing. And if I'm if I am in the future, I'm fearful. If I'm in the past, there can be guilt and so these worksheets take care of it. But it certainly takes an open mind, doesn't it, even to fill in the worksheet.
Yeah.
I'm
And
glad people have
stillness.
this podcast so they have clear direction from you as to how to fill in that worksheet and get still and inquire.
Yes.
What a gift, Chris.
Yeah. I was like in vacation. The last week I just came home last night from the US, and I invited a friend, Anne, and she had fear of flying. And she never
Mm-hmm.
did one worksheet about the actual fear of flying. We were sitting next to each other. I offered her my hand, but she was like, with this curious eye, she said, wow, for the first time in my life, I can watch out the window and
Oh,
I don't experience any fear.
mm, yeah,
And
yeah. Self-inquiry, it's
yes,
shocking when we see the absence of fear and expect it, but it can't happen because we're awake to something else.
yeah, for me, what I'm learning through your work is how my mind works. And when I understand my mind, I understand the
Yeah,
mind, one
yeah,
mind.
yeah. And the compassion that comes with that, the
Yes,
understanding.
yes.
And it doesn't mean we have to agree, and there's no woo-woo here. It's just that we understand. We understand because we understand from a place of experience, and there's compassion. It's out of that understanding. In other words, the absence of fear.
Yes.
Yeah, open mind, kind mind.
Yes. And I
Yeah,
know
closed mind, fearful mind.
I get asked quite often about if I would know how you feel and how would
Mhm.
I know how you feel? It's like
Yeah.
no idea. So with this gift that you have received, like how can you describe to the ones listening how it feels to have this gift of an open mind, a fearless state of mind?
It feels exactly the way you experienced it when the doctor says, walk,
Oh my
and your mind went, ah, and then it leveled itself and it walked.
yes.
How could it not? The absence of fear. And it doesn't mean that it wouldn't hurt you or the stitches would know, none of it. If it walk.
Yeah.
And the universe, as it turns out, is friendly.
Yes.
And doctors aren't going to torture you just for fun and
So,
open up their hours of work.
oh yes.
But the ego would love to override it and be right. And then
Mhm.
sanity would say, what am I, nuts? And just trust and walk.
Yeah. Baby
Yeah.
steps, baby steps,
Mhm.
baby
That are
steps.
really monumental, to go beyond the ego into a whole other world of
Mhm.
safety.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this recovering process, before I never understood when you say pain is on its way out. At
Mm.
least I remember it that way.
Yeah, pain is either remembered or anticipated. So in that, where is the pain? And I
Mhm.
love that we invite people to sit in that, to quarry that, to ponder that.
Yeah, I had those 3 moments where after the second surgery, I had two, and now one is coming up in March. And after the second, I had those 3 moments where so much pain would visit me out
Yeah.
of nothing. It just
Mhm.
boom, an explosion of pain. I thought, oh, wow. Like walking didn't help, sitting didn't help, lying didn't help.
Mhm.
Nothing helped. I breathing didn't help. It was just full of pain. But there, either remembered or anticipated. And in the middle, the only thing that helped was like a very strong sleeping pill that the doctor gave me for a specific, and I resisted to take it. But then I took it, fall asleep, woke up, no pain.
Mhm.
And there was this state of grace feeling of
Mhm.
no pain.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for modern medicine.
Yes. Yes. Could I ask you? I got asked a question about a story from your more radical life when you were in the desert and meeting your
Uh-huh.
fears. I don't know if I recall correctly with the fear of rattlesnakes.
Uh-huh.
Um, like, is it really true that you like? Is it how I remember that you went to the warm street and lied down on the floor waiting for them to come?
Yeah, in the desert on asphalt, it
Uh-huh.
heats because it's black and it absorbs the sun. So at night, when the evening, it becomes cool, the rattlesnakes love to go stay warm on the asphalt at night. And um, and so I was testing it, life is death.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, life is a dream. We are dreamed.
Yes.
And anyone that just heard me say life is dreamed now is in the past. So it's really, I wanted to see. Yeah, I just wanted to experience, I feared rattlesnakes raised in the desert all my life. We really respected them, and we kept our children from them and safe from them, and etc. So this fear, this phobia around rattlesnakes and how they crawl at night, onto so I just lay on the asphalt and understanding that in that state of mind and relaxation and gifting, just to receive that gift of the warm pavement and the night and the stars and the sky and the fear and waiting to be shown, is there something to fear or not, meaning. And I could imagine rattlesnakes around me, but to meet that is, why would they want to bite me? They don't. When you come up against them in the desert, they move away from you. And if you're too close for them, they'll coil and strike or just strike. And it's a warning. There's no harm. They're, like us, fearful. And I'm not saying they have minds that are fearful. It's like an instinct we all have when we're beyond the mind, frightened and jump of something. The ego isn't saying, now jump, now fear. It's just this. So as I lay on the pavement, knowing, oh, they're just being with them, just imagining they're there. And I don't know if to this day if they were there or not. All I know is they're welcome. And I was obviously welcome if they were there. They didn't strike. They had no reason. And and that's, Chris, when I often say, if no one would harm another human being
Mhm.
if they were not fearful.
Yes.
And then to understand that is to understand the apparent enemy is no more or no less frightened than I myself have been when I'm frightened, or any of us have ever been when we're frightened. So where's our compassion and understanding? And because it's not a mystery once you understand that, that fear is a state of mind. Those images of past and future, like someone says they're going to kill me and they put a gun to my head saying, and is that person causing my fear, or is it what I'm thinking and believing that is the cause of my fear? It's always, as I've had that experience also, it's always what we're thinking and believing that has caused fear. It can never be another human being.
Mm,
Now, understanding that is to understand that that's a fearful human being, just like a rattlesnake. That would be a fearful rattlesnake, like I'm standing up on the pavement, I'm walking, I could easily step on one, and
mm,
that snake would strike. Or if they anticipated my coming and were aware, that snake
mm,
may strike, but my innocence,
mm, mm,
that innocence that we see in other human beings and animals and snakes, reptiles, and it's across the board. Love is the power. Now, there's wisdom as well. I'm inviting people, if you're not really curious and ready to die, don't do that. I've done it for you. You don't have to. And if we all, but I had to test it, Chris,
yeah,
before I could speak to it. I just
yeah,
had to test it in so many ways, just like as an agoraphobic walking out my front door into the town, just terrifying. And I found only love, just like that's those people and rattlesnakes, same. Fear is what I'm saying.
mm,
That's what
mm,
I mean by same. Fear is fear. And I'm not going to walk into traffic because I'm so enlightened. I don't want someone to hit me and spend the rest of their lives
mm,
feeling like they harmed or killed another human being. So that would be like intentionally upsetting the rattlesnakes on the pavement at midnight.
yeah. That's the sane mind, right? Only
Mhm.
you're aware that doesn't mean you're free to do anything. That doesn't mean to do a stupid thing. It's like the true
Yeah,
nature. Yeah.
yeah. By nature, we do what's kind. And that leaves, as in your words, kind thoughts.
Mm,
It's and life, everything coming out of those states of mind. So, as we would say, all war belongs on paper, to fill in those judge your neighbor worksheets and sit with people like you to kind of get a handle on how it works. But it doesn't take a teacher at the same time. Just follow the simple directions on the worksheet. And if you need a little, you need a little help, here you are. And I'm grateful for that. And your podcast, Chris.
yes. And you are the experience. Like it came to you, got this gift. You did it all alone. Like
Yeah.
no one needed, no dependency, just everything out of your own.
Yeah, and the
Yes.
truth doesn't take courage. It takes curiosity to come up against it.
Mm,
People in town are going to hurt me, or they're gonna they don't care about me. All of these thoughts we have it, and those belong on paper until we can walk in any world, any place, anywhere in the
mm,
world and be at home.
yeah.
Not just happy about it, but that also, but at home, wherever we are, under any situation, even if we've had a surgery like yours and the doctor says walk, and we are just, no, 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 you don't understand, you don't. And without all of that, you walk.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, and that was trust.
Yeah.
And here you are, recovering
Mm,
right on time rather than having to be restitched and fearful. We say and do like like really weird stuff when we're fearful. And yeah,
Mm,
And, as an agoraphobic on on being in the world, in other words, walking through our fears, this work, ahead of time is the preventive medicine that allows us to live full lives. But it does take a lot of courage, as we know, Chris, to
mm,
to come up against our thoughts in a community way, which is to commune with these thoughts and self-inquiry,
mm,
to move our fear of, the thoughts that cause our fear, and on paper, and question them, turn them around,
mm.
take it in. It's an exercise in stillness. It's a way of meditating in the cause of our suffering and how to end it.
Yeah. And then seeing the guidance that lies inside and the turnarounds and the clear
Mhm.
directions from the
Mhm.
inside, not
Yeah,
from the
on the
outside.
worksheet, I want, I
Yes.
need. They should. They shouldn't. I don't ever want to. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
checkmate. That worksheet is checkmate to the
Hmm.
ego.
Yeah. Like you mentioned agoraphobic. I met you way after this state of
Uh-huh.
mind. So what did, in my life, what is so beneficial, I cannot tell you how often I think about it when you say it, that I hope I repeat it correctly. Everyone loves me. I just don't expect them to know it yet.
Yes, exactly so.
And I walk around sometimes when I have to do something with bigger group, then I remember this one.
Mm.
And the
Yeah,
relaxation comes. So
yeah.
in this space of being agoraphobic and then not, like, can you describe how did you feel like being like I saw it personally, you coming on stage, an auditorium of like 3,000, 4,000 people in Israel, for example. I saw it with my own eyes. I have goosebumps. You came on stage, the whole audience, it was like quiet. You could hear a needle fall.
Mm,
And everyone, like with your aura or charisma, I don't know, everyone would fall into your words. It's like
mm,
magic to me.
mm.
Like, how did you feel as coming from an agoraphobic state of mind?
Well, I'll try to answer it out of simple words. The absence of fear,
Hmm.
completely connected, a kind of oneness. I'm trying to find another word that would clarify more, but not separate from. Chris, I know that no one is more enlightened than I am, other than what they're thinking and believing, the ego's world that overrides it. No one is wiser than another human being or kinder. So we take those thoughts, those fearful thoughts, like he hurt me, she doesn't care about me anymore. All those just mundane things that run through our head that cause separation. Move them from our head to paper. There are no new stressful thoughts in every language we have in this world. No new stressful thoughts. So we only think six things about him, her, them, it. Only six things. And that's what the worksheet is. It covers it. It is checkmate to the ego. And the ego is attempting to survive. But as we question it, it wakes up and it joins non duality, which is basically life is a gift. There's no downside other than what we're thinking and believing about it. And that's a big statement that could sound crazy
Mm.
to people that go, yeah, but what about? And so, yeah, but what about? And my response is, get that what about? That's fear. Get the What about, and move it from your head to paper, a judge your neighbor worksheet. And you could be right, but test it for yourself. Other people's opinion can give heads up, but our own personal experience, everyone has a right to know for themselves
Mhm.
that what they're fearing is true or false. We want to be safe. And I don't know a safer way to live than self inquiry. It never pushes us beyond our own evolution or way, and it doesn't require us to do anything. It just offers us a way. And you and I, we honor that way because what we had was not so much.
And like the six in I want, they should, I need. And like, was it in the desert
The
when it came
questions
to
on
you?
the
On the work,
questions
judge
on
and
the
neighbor
worksheet.
worksheet?
Yeah.
Yes. Did they come to you
Well,
when you
I
were in the
was
desert or?
I was in a state of show me, which is who am I without the thought, show me, show me. And I had to know, Chris, and I don't
Mhm.
suggest people put themselves in dangerous circumstances, but I was not I,
Mhm.
and and not I doesn't live or die. States of mind are not physical, and so thus life is a dream. And when we fear life, it's no way to live this gift of life. And it grounds us, and we're at home in our bodies, whether we think or people think we're too fat, too thin, too tall, too short, too sick, envy him, envy her. And I'm glad I'm not that human. But all the separation is the opposite of understanding and connection. And it doesn't mean I have to invite people into my home and go have coffee and all of that. Those are options that we can say yes to and no to, but not be fearful or comfortable in any response. And the question is, do I want to go have tea with that person or invite them to what do I want?
Mhm.
And to get in touch with that. And that's hard to get in touch with because I can only imagine what it would be. And the yeses and nos can so often come out of that ego's world. But if I'm a no, that shifts for me very quickly to yes, just to see if what I was thinking and believing is valid or not. So that's like going out to the road and with into the snake's home.
Mhm. The yeses and nos, like doing the work and finding true yeses, finding true nos, and learning. I didn't know that there's actually no no. When there's a no to the outside, it's a yes for me. I had no idea prior to sitting in your work.
Yeah.
Yes, and finding solid yeses and solid nos. It's I
Mm,
I want to express my gratitude. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to express my gratitude. You're like I heard you say, I needed to know. And
mhm.
this curiosity and those life experiences that you share so openly with us, with me, with the world, like they are repeating in my mind. And when I'm in my daily life, come into a situation, I hear it and I remember
Mhm.
what I learned from you, and then it's been applied in my own life. So I want to express my gratitude that you share your life's experience with me and with the audience, with the world. So helpful. I'm so
Yeah,
grateful.
thank you,
Mhm.
Chris. That gives me the energy to
Mhm.
continue. And in my 80s, it's it's the energy that drives me and a way of meeting love.
Hmm.
And I think that is, I feel, in my 80s, I feel as strong as I've ever been physically. And my memory isn't what I would want it to be. I'm like an 80-year-old who doesn't remember, like one of those grandparents who doesn't, it's like, oh, I forgot, oh, I forgot. But it's, but it is, but that is not a terrible thing. Life is, I don't have that much to add to life that people don't already have. So, and then it leaves me as a student as well. It's,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
like your experience reminds me what I have inside, but without your stories, I wouldn't maybe never have found out that it's inside of me.
Yeah, so
Mm.
which gives you stories to pass on
Yeah,
to the people in your
yes,
orbit
yes,
and to share that. And the
yes,
more we share it, the stronger it gets, not just inside of us, but in the world.
yes.
It becomes and any, no matter how horrific people in the world seem to be, or groups of people, no matter how
Mm,
horrific it seem to be, let me take care of what I'm thinking and believing
mm,
about those people or that person.
mhm.
And that takes care of one fearful human being,
Yeah.
knowing that if those people don't do what they do, there are major consequences to their lives. And where is that in me? And that's my
Mm,
work, because I can't change the world, but what I'm thinking and believing about the world, I can change that, enlighten myself to that through the process of self inquiry, which is really what we're offering, isn't it? Self
mm.
inquiry, self inquiry. You want to know where the power is? We've heard these things, the power inside. Well, yeah, if you think you want to call out that power, fill in a worksheet and question,
Yeah.
question it, and wow.
Making
Yeah.
love with the self, really my
Yeah.
experience too. That's
Yeah.
yeah. May I I'm so grateful for our time. May I bring a few questions from people who live the work in our community?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'd be honored to.
yeah, there is one question about safety in the body. Like the question is someone has never really felt what safety feels like in their body, how can that sense of safety be experienced?
Well, it's enough in that situation as I hear it to understand, to be free of the fear you're experiencing. That's the absence of fear, if I understand the question correctly. And that's enough for me, the absence of fear.
Mm.
That's like saying the absence of stress, fear. Ask the question again.
If someone has never really felt what safety feels like in the body, how can
Yeah,
that?
it is the absence of suffering.
Mm,
You to why is it, and if that person can find just one free moment
hmm,
that they've experienced in their life when they were not fearful, that's it. That's their
mm,
reference.
yeah,
So it's not all the time and it's not forever. And if they find one, they can find two. And I had to find, like, the absences of suffering is when I was asleep at night and not dreaming. And then I wake up, I am, da, 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 da. So this self-awareness that recognize what I've just shared, it's silent. It's self-realization. And if this person can find one moment, they can find another, and they see that it's not 100% of their lives, like this ball of nothing but.
mm,
Yeah, and then it opens people to this work and being with you, and because their minds are more open, because they're less fearful.
it's fearful. Mm.
Yeah, open mind, open heart.
Mm.
Closed mind, closed
That's
heart.
hard.
Fear.
Mm. Yeah. There's a question from someone. I often get lost in drama and then I don't do my work. How can I be more disciplined with it?
Oh, a worksheet a day keeps hell away.
Oh, it keeps hell away.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And do you, I always want to ask you, do you mean with the worksheet today, do you mean the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet or do you,
Yes. Uh-huh.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Judge your neighbor worksheet a day
Mm,
keeps hell away.
mm,
Like the power of Kind Thoughts podcast. It keeps the opposite of kind thoughts
mm.
alive when when anyway, I think I've answered it. Hopefully so.
Thank you so much. And the last question from the audience, um, it's this is the question. What does Alzheimer's dementia mean from your perspective?
Freedom. Ah. Hi, sweetie.
Oh.
Oh, Stephen.
Oh.
Yeah, freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah,
No.
I don't remember who am I? Who am I?
Uh,
Get still.
yeah.
Free.
Yeah. Yeah. I I actually with I think I'm allowed to share this with my father, my ex-father-in-law. He passed away, but he was in that state of mind and sitting when he still was alive, sitting with him at the sofa was the most peaceful
Mm-hmm.
place. Watching the
Mm-hmm.
birds, so peaceful. And the look in his
Mm-hmm.
eyes was so peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
In the moment,
yeah.
in the now. So
You
peaceful.
know, on self-inquiry, this
Hmm.
this work, these 4 questions and turnarounds. If we like, should Alzheimer's occur and you've done your work, you're home.
Hmm.
Other people may have a problem with it,
Hmm.
but I know several times today I've forgotten something and it's so peaceful.
Hmm.
And the old way would, I forgot, I don't remember. Oh my God, where did I put my car keys? Oh my gosh, I'm getting worse. My mind is all of that. Or just noticing, it's like chop wood, carry water without the panic. Who am I without the thought? I do what's necessary. I just walk to this room, this room, this room, this
Hmm.
countertop, and enjoy the trip. There are
Hmm.
two ways to look for car keys. For example, one is enjoying the trip, and the other is very very stressful. Can be,
Yeah, past future, past
especially when
future. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. There is this project I got, like I read a research that people, like on their deathbeds, like scientists, they did research, also 50s and 60s and 70s, that people who meditated or worked on their minds, like there were two, they had an illness, two patients, same illness, same basically age. One didn't work on themselves, on their minds, and the other did. That the ones who meditated have it's easier for letting go.
Yeah, yeah, because they've been doing it for a long time. If they've been meditating for a long time,
Yeah.
but it gets better than just letting go. Yes, it's peaceful, but
Mm.
curiosity.
Curiosity.
Ah,
Mhm.
curiosity. Little excitement on the road out. In fact, here I am on the other side, it seems. This is it.
Oh, I love you so much.
Oh, honey. Oh,
Mm.
I
Thank
hope
you.
that I have served your work and that people will benefit and Yeah, Chris, thank you for offering up a way to end suffering, the cause of suffering, and how to end it.
Mm,
Yeah, I,
mm,
I, I love you so much. Thank you for your podcast and
Thank you so
your
much.
service to
Yeah.
the world.
It's like I'm now 43, so that's a good time
No,
to start
no,
something.
no. Oh, I look at you and you are just as adorable as the first moment I laid eyes on you.
Same, same. Love at
Oh,
first sight. Oh,
I
so
love it first.
yes. Oh,
Thank you,
thank you
Chris.
so
To your
much.
listeners, you are in good company with our Chris. Loving what is.
Oh, loving what is. Thank
Aw.
you so much.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you for watching and listening. What a beautiful time with Byron Katie. Thank you so much, Katie. So, if you want to know more about the work, you can always visit www.thework.com to get all informations for free. And you can check out my website, www.mitchrist.de, if you speak German. And I will record in the next session or in the upcoming sessions in this podcast some infos about the work, the four questions that we were talking about today. Thank you again for listening. So much love, and I wish you a lot of kind and loving thoughts. Place on everything that you meet today your kindest thought and meet yourself. Bye.